All right, what's happening, Milford and beyond? We're back. It's a little after 2 o'clock here on Tuesday, April 7th. I know today's date because it happens to be John's birthday, so I got that one down. But here we are, a week of April, down, gone. See you later, bye. Today, I have for you a chicken pot pie recipe with a little bit of a variation because I don't have every ingredient in my house. And the whole point is to not go to the store, but find a way to make the things that we love with the things that we have. And then I'm going to offer up this black bean burger recipe. This is not, unfortunately, the original Rainbow Gardens restaurant recipe. I don't have the ownership to that. That belongs to my sister, and she has asked me not to publish that specific recipe for the time being. So I'm going to honor her wishes and not do that, but I'm going to give you a version of something pretty close with an explanation as to why this is done that way. But first we're going to start the chicken pot pie. Over here, I have a little bit of oil in the bottom of this great Le Creuset pan that I made the onion soup in last week. Wow, was it last week we started doing this? Yep. It's been a week. And the first thing that you're going to do is I prep the vegetables ahead of time is you're going to go ahead and brown off your celery and carrots. Now this is about one small onion and 2 carrots, not celery yet. The celery goes in later. The carrots and onions take a little bit longer to cook. Again, what we're doing here is we're working on the caramelization of the vegetables, the onions and the carrots, because that's going to give you the flavor to your soup. When we're talking about soups and pot pies, shepherd's pie, we're talking about building layers of flavor. And the way you get the layers of flavor is the ingredients that go into it to build it, the activity that you get on the vegetables, the caramelization of the vegetables, the aromatics and the seasonings that you add to it, and then the stocks that you choose. And like I keep being a proponent of, every time I make vegetable scraps or chicken scraps or beef scraps, I make a stock because this is just going to be another layer of flavor that is going to come into this dish. Now earlier today, I poached this chicken. I've had I'd say it was about 2 large or 4 small chicken breasts. I poached it in some liquid with some turmeric because I talked earlier about the anti-inflammatory properties of turmeric. And I got this chicken stock that we're going to use in our chicken pot pie with this chicken that I already poached. So I'm going to go ahead and cook this down. Now, normally I would put white potatoes in with this, but I don't have that. So I have these sweet potatoes from the other day. I just peeled them and diced them. All the vegetables are about the same size so that they cook and the texture is appealing when it comes together. I had them soaking in water because they will turn black on the outsides with oxidation if you prep ahead of time and you don't soak them in water. So that's why I did that. And then I'm going to go ahead here now and add some seasoning. So always salt and pepper. Always use that. Fresh ground black pepper is great. My other favorites come into play. My granulated onion, because that's what I have. My granulated garlic, because that's what I have. Fresh thyme would be great in this. I put the bay leaves into my stock when I made the chicken earlier, so bay leaf, which looks like this, would be great in there. I also had those scallions from out in the yard, and those are some of the vegetable peelings from the vegetables that I prepped here. That's probably going to go into a soup for tomorrow. So the idea here is to cook this down. Now, if you were going to make this with a roux, here's where you would add the flour. And so you would go, sprinkle the flour in and stir it around, but I'm not going to do it that way today. I'm going to show you, it's not a classic technique. Classic technique is roux, but I'm going to show you, a cheat technique, one that we always use because it makes it go a little bit quicker for you. So what I'm going to do to this now that I've gotten the flavors that I want is I'm going to add my stock and bring it to a boil. And what I want to do is cook the sweet potatoes and the carrots most of the way before I add the celery, because the celery doesn't take that long to cook, and if I were to put the celery in now with these vegetables, I would just have celery mush. So I'm going to hold off on that. I'm going to let the onions and the carrots and the sweet potatoes cook. And then I'm going to add the celery, and then hopefully it'll be boiling and I can show you my little trick that I'm going to do here. I'm just going to put this off to the side. 1 second. Alright, so I'm going to cut the celery while I'm over here just so that it's ready to go. So I cut the ends off and I put them in the stock, and then it's just a dice of the celery, keeping your fingers out of the way, small dice, same size as all the other vegetables that we had in there. All right, so I'm gonna need this pan back here, getting warm. All right, so when we talk about vegetable burgers, there's two schools of thought. There's vegan, which would mean completely all vegetarian, no products, so no eggs included in that. So to do a burger vegan, you would have to use some kind of breadcrumb, a panko, or this breadcrumb that I'm going to use is the honey whole wheat because that's what I have. That's what's going to bind it together. You could use eggs to make it bind together, but if you're going to do vegan, you're not going to be using those eggs. The other school of thought in vegetarian burgers is gluten-free, because a lot of people go to those options because they can't have the flours. So you could make this recipe with these ingredients and substitute this breadcrumb with some other form of rice flour or quinoa or ground up, something that's going to be your binding agent, your thickening agent. So what I did before was I had red lentils, brown rice, and black beans, and I cooked them all, and I drained them. And then I'm just going to mix that together, and I seasoned it with salt, pepper, I sauteed onions, I threw in some scallions. I wish I had cilantro. Cilantro would make this delicious. I did add Cajun powder and curry powder to this mixture. And I think it's the curry that everybody really loved about our burgers, but we had a trick that made them vegan, and that's what my sister doesn't want me to show. So I'm going to use these breadcrumbs as my thickening agent. If you were going to deep fry this, you're going to need an egg. I don't think it's necessary to deep fry. I think you can pan fry, and you could also bake. Another tip to the black bean burger is you could make this ahead of time and keep it in the refrigerator. You could make it and form it and keep the patties in the refrigerator. You could make it and form it and freeze it. You could bake them and freeze them so that you could do some ahead of time meal prep with this, and be ready to go. I'm going to use a scoop today because I don't want to do the glove thing. I'm really trying to not do gloves. And I'm going to put a little oil in this pan in the back. I'm going to do them small, actually. I'll do them like the bean cakes that we used to have in the restaurant. So you want to get your oil hot. You can see the smoking point there. Oh, somebody's calling me. And then put a scoop. Pack it in there. Oh, that's not where I wanted that to go. All right. Now, these are a little hot, so I'm going to turn that down a little bit. And since you could watch that cook, I'll just show. You want to make a ball out of it and tuck in the edges. People talk about how theirs fall apart, but if you make it into a ball and tuck in the edges, you shouldn't have a problem with that, going into the pan. We're going to post on our YouTube channel exactly what we put in these so that you could have that today. I think an egg might have helped a little bit here, but I'm going to make it work. It's really up to you. Everybody's got a different diet that they're following. Some people are following it for health reasons. Some people are following it for personal reasons. Whatever works for you, you got to go with that and stick with that. This one's most promising back here. A little bit more. So then after that, and then you have to decide, am I going to serve this over a salad? Am I going to serve this on a roll? Am I going to put it in a wrap? There's so many things you can do with it. But again, this was just red lentils, black beans, brown rice. I used breadcrumbs for my combining agent, curry powder, Cajun. I'm going to give you exactly how I did this, even with my suggestion for if you want to add an egg. And that's just going to hold it, together more. Like you can see, I'm going to have problems flipping that one there. So that told you where this one I didn't pull it out yet. All right. There you go. Could have used a bigger pan too. I don't know why I didn't want to wash a bigger pan, to be honest with you. I feel like if we keep up this channel, I'm going to have to hire a dishwasher to come and do all my dishes. All right, see that first one, I didn't pack in there like I did with the other one. So I think that's going to be a tip for you there, is make sure that you pack that scoop before you put them in there. Now everything was fully cooked, and since I didn't use a raw egg on this, you're going to be able to take this right out of the pan and eat it. You know, if you had used a raw egg in this, you might want to finish it in the oven, or you might want to lower the heat even more here and finish cooking that. A good suggestion for a sauce for this would be a green goddess dressing or a tzatziki sauce with yogurt and cucumber and dill. We don't have that. I'm not really sure what I'm going to serve this with. I'll just eat it like that. Cilantro would have been great in this. Any sour cream based sauce. You could also make a tahini hummus. Roasted pepper hummus would be really good with this. Get that one on the picture. I don't like what happened to that one. Hey, if it fails, then you just scramble it up and throw some spinach in there, and it's brown rice and beans and lentils. You can go wrong with that too. So you can make like a little scramble if your patty is a fail. That's pretty much all I have to say about. That's all I have to say about black bean cakes. So give that one a try. See if it comes close. See if that comes close to what you loved about the ones in the restaurant. And the thing about it too was we deep fried that there. And anytime you deep fry something, it just makes the texture of it so much better. But I'm pretty psyched about how close that texture is right there. That looks pretty spot on. Let's go back to this guy over here quick. All right, so you see that my vegetables are boiling. The sweet potatoes probably aren't soft yet, but I want to show you this technique anyway before they get soft. And the other way to do this would be to keep the sweet potatoes out of this and just make mashed sweet potatoes for the crust on top of your chicken pot pie. You could also make biscuits. I'm not going to do that. We're just going to have the pot pie. I don't think I'm going to make any biscuits today for this. So at this point, your chicken would go in to the pot. And if your potatoes were soft, your celery would go in. But this is proportionately what you want to see there. All right. I think this needs a few more aromatics, so I'm probably going to add them after the fact because I don't have them out here on the counter with me. But thyme and bay leaf would be great in that. All right. Now let me do my trick with the flour. It is going to be the flour in a bowl. This is called a slurry. And what you do is you make this mixture. You get all the lumps out of your flour like that in the bowl. This is such a cheap trick. It is not Culinary Institute of America approved. I'd probably get thrown out of the CIA club if they saw me do this, but I hate to tell you it works, and I did it for many, many years. And this is also a thing that you could do to make, you could make gravy. So if you had your turkey stock and turkey dressings going. All right, the key to this is hot stock, cold. So this needs to be boiling. So we need this guy to come back up to boil. Now it lost its temperature because we added the cold vegetables and the cold chicken to it. So for this to work, this needs to be boiled. So let's just give it 1 second here. And again, if you want, again, you could see that I did it before the vegetables were cooked all the way, so I'm going to have to watch this as I cook it. What you ideally want to do is make sure that everything in here is fork tender, soft, ready to go before you thicken it with this little cheap trick that I have for you right here. Another thing that you could add to this at the end if you want, you could add corn, frozen corn or frozen peas. I don't have either one of those, so I'm not going to put those in there, but peas would be great. You probably want to add those only to the batch that you're going to serve now. Like if you were going to freeze this and serve it later, I probably wouldn't put the peas in it. I'd probably just put them in as I made it every night. That might be boiling enough for this trick to work. So what's going to happen is this is going to go in here, and you're going to see it thicken my stock. All right, see how that got thick? It's not translucent now. And as it comes back up to a boil, see? And this is how you can make all kinds of cream soups and gravies and sauces. There's no lumps in there because I had it nice and smooth before it went in. Now this is going to slowly reduce, and it'll just get thicker you know, as it goes. And that will be the secret to my chicken pot pie. And again, taste it, see where you're at with it. Let it simmer, taste it again. Always taste it before you serve it. Mine definitely needs a little more salt. It needs a little more onion garlic. I'm going to put some Cajun into it just to kick it up a little bit. Oh, that's a lot of Cajun in it. All right, so this will cook down probably 45 minutes on a nice low heat, and then you could scoop it into bowls, and you could do either way. You could make some biscuits, Bisquick, you could make some corn muffin topping, you could make some mashed potatoes, you could make some mashed sweet potatoes, whatever you select for yours to cover that up. All right, so today we are supporting our local first responders. That includes police, fire, EMT. We just want to say thank you for everything you're doing. These people are going into homes and nursing homes and areas, responding to the needs of patients during this pandemic, and they aren't thinking twice about it. They're doing their job because that's what their job is, and we just want to say thank you to all of you for doing that. I know way too many people who are firemen, EMTs, and police to list them all off, so I don't want to forget anybody. I just want to thank everybody, whether it's here in our hometown or if it's in any of the hometowns from the states that are watching me, through people, cousins, and family that know me. I just want to say a great big thanks for doing your job. I know that seems silly. I'm thanking you for doing your job, but it is really appreciated, and you probably don't hear that enough right now. So I wanted to make sure that we got to say that. So John, who do you have today to highlight as our Milford restaurant of the night?
Let's see. I have dun, da, da, da. Our friends over at Citrus. Kenny, working hard. And, you know, a lot of people don't realize, you know, I mean, we're never in competition with other restaurants, you know, we're in competition with other towns, you know, so, I mean, the way we were successful is, you know, we had good relationships with other restaurants, you know, we had a lot of our employees who worked at other restaurants while they were working for us, and, you know, we have like Michaela G and Artemio, our Raspberry Explosion guy, who's, both of them are over at Citrus. And, you know, they're really, you know, everybody's struggling right now. So we're just going to keep encouraging everybody to, you know, to support them, do what you can. I also am going to post the link, and the guy's name, I don't remember off the top of my head, but he's raised $10,000, and he's assigned all that money is going to purchase food from restaurants, and it's given to, first responders, nurses, the police department. He's got a whole list. It's a really great cause. You know, we made a donation to it. I know it's over $10,000, and every single penny is going to Milford Restaurants. So again, I'll post it on the Facebook page in a little while. But thank you for looking at that, and you know, give Citrus a shout out. Don't forget the restaurants in downtown.
Also, this is what's left of the sourdough bread that I was able to make in that crock pot yesterday. I made that beautiful ring. There's a photo of it up on the internet of the rolls that I made, and I had those leftover onions and some of the grease that came off of the meatloaf, and I put them on the onion rolls that was made with the sourdough bread. Those came out amazing. The smell on this is really, really yeasty, really earthy. It's got a nice tight crumb to it, and the crust, when I did with that steam technique, this was yesterday, this has been wrapped up, but yesterday this was really crispy and delicious, and you can see it has the shape of the bottom of that crock pot that I cooked in, and then these were the cuts that I made with the scissors. But this is slowly diminishing piece by piece on this plate, and it's not from this guy, so I don't expect that to be there tomorrow. I just wanted to show you that. I'm going to try that again, another method, and see what I could do with that starter again. Tomorrow, I'm not really sure what we're making. Somebody asked for Easter pie for the weekend. It's all going to depend on whether we get out to the grocery store or not to get those items. I don't want to just go to the store to buy things to make. That'll be for another time. But I want to thank everybody for joining us. It gives us something to do for the day, and I hope it eats up some of that time of you guys staying at home too. And now is really important for us to stay home and cut this thing. You know, we really got to beat this thing down. It's getting warm out. People want to go out to the park. They want to go out to the beach. They want to hang out. We're getting tired of being shut in. 2 more weeks. We really got to hold the line. 2 more weeks. Thanks, everybody.